Good afternoon from Arkansas. Bob Smith. This is Echo. What I try to do in my videos is answer questions that people have sent in. So I'm not just putting stuff out, I'm putting things out that actually people have asked about that apply. I've had people ask about groundwork. And I guess what I tend to call it is ground communication. Because what I want to do with this mule here, she's a big girl and she knows it, is help her understand what my presentation means. That's what their native language is. They read presentation, they read environment, they read other herd members, they read predators, they read everything. And yet a lot of times when we work with them, we reduce it to language of a rope wiggling or swinging at them or something, and we forget about what our presentation is. And if you're going to use a rope to jiggle, then move your inflection in too to back this up. This rope basically is for safety and support to help her understand what I'm asking. It's an extension of my hands, but I'm not the kind that uses a stick, string, or whip or anything else to drive them. The drive should come from here. So when I'm working with my animal, I have to realize I am working on myself. I'm trying to affect contextual conversation with this animal, and by context I mean what has meaning to her, not just what I think in my head should happen, but what has meaning to her. And so in our communication, what I want to try to do is duplicate what another animal would do to move her, taking into the fact that I have two legs and I'm not a mule, I'm not a horse. So we have to come to terms on mutual understanding, and that's where the clarity and the consistency come in. When I'm working with them, I don't assume artificial postures to move a butt or anything like that. If I want her rear end over, I'm going to come around here with a direct rein. This will tie in to the seat. Everything we do here will have a direct effect on the seat. So I'm going to come in here with a direct rein and just ask her to move her hips. All right? And at the same time, I should be able to walk around here and rub her without her moving, because I'm taking the guesswork away from her. The direct rein and my body presentation over there is like two words put together in a sentence that communicates to her, keep your front posted and move your butt over. All right? It's the same with a backup. If I want her to back up, I should be able to walk into her and not have her move. But if I walk into her and ask her to back up, my presentation will be, please move with me. We read other people every day. We need to kind of take that level of communication to the animal. So I'm going to let her know, back with me, please. And I should just have to put a finger over that rope and ask her to back. The thing that matters to me is the fact that she's backing with me and not away from me. She's not backing because I'm being real expressive here or swinging a rope or anything else. I can walk up to her. Here you go. So she's doing some guessing because I dropped the rope. So this is where we'll just work on it. By the way, I don't always use the same mule. I try to use different mules so you can see that I don't just have one polished animal. We're working on all of them. So I'm going to walk into her again and tell her you don't have to move. This time I'll walk into her and say, please back with me. And it should be right there, that easy. There's just a little contact. She lowers her head and she backs with me. She softens into it, which also, another factor, if I come in here and I'm pulling on this rope hard to back her up, her head is going to lift. And that association with rein contact will be the same. She's going to want to lift her head. So if you have one that wants to do that, to take it back a step, is come in here and ask them to lower their head. And then put them in the reverse. So they start learning that the sequence of events, the sequence of motions is lower your head, soften to the feel, and back into it. Again, that will carry on to the saddle. We tend to get too heavy with our lead rope. We get too heavy with our reins. We forget about our presentation, whether it's on the ground or in the seat, and everything the animal gets comes from here. And basically what we start doing, if we handle them from here all the time, is she becomes nothing more than a hitch on a trailer. All she does is follow this. She doesn't have to think. And I want her to think. The other aspect of the ground communication this way is if I move in a way that matters to her and I don't use a rope swinging or anything else, her attention, right here, sweetie, her focus is on me rather than my tools. And that's what I want. Look. So I'm going to have to do here, because she's not a real polished apple, is just remind her to keep walking when I want her to. If I want her to whoa, I can step right here, tell her good whoa. If she moves a little bit, I'll just step in a little bit more and reaffirm that whoa. The energy you use depends on the energy the animal puts back. When she's pretty soft like this, it doesn't take much to suggest what I want from her. If I want her to circle this way, I'm going to make my presentation that way. And if you notice, I didn't just stand here and point and swing a rope. My whole body indicated, please go that way. If I want her to change direction, again, I incline back. Just that little inclination forward and back will get her to change directions. She's asking a question here, should I keep walking? And I'm saying yes. When she's doing what I want her to do, I just come back here to my thank you position, is what I call it. This is the way I'll be riding too. I'm not going to, we'll let her whoa here for a minute. I'm not going to ride like this. I'm not going to be real busy in the saddle. When that animal, when I'm riding and it's doing what I want, my hands are back here. That way my center stays low, my seat stays seated, and I'm not putting my energy upper body, all right? I'm not getting in the way of my animal moving either. So I train myself on the ground that if she's moving, I don't have to keep going like this to keep her moving, because that's giving her a constant cue and there's no release. Her release is moving off when I ask her to. Atta girl. And I want you to know, to me, it's not pressure and release, it's direction, support, and letting the animal figure it out. They actually find their own release by what they're doing. I don't have to give it to her. She gets her release when she's doing what I ask her to. We'll ask her to go this way. Right here, please. Atta girl. Right here. I'm going to ask her to come in. Atta girl. I'm just going to let her stay in for a bit. What we need to bear in mind is the impact we have on them by constantly pulling on the halter. This goes back to rein contact, anything else we have. A bigger bit is not going to solve your issue if you do not change. If I ask her right here, you're all right, sweetie, for lateral flexion, because she's a strong girl, she's been a little bit resistant to lateral flexion, I can't pull harder on her and get her to bring her nose around. What I'll do is bring that rope around, and I'm going to set it right up here on her withers so it's fixed. She finds the release when she softens on that rope. All right? If she was real bracy, I would start giving her a release sooner. But the thing is, if it is kind of counterintuitive, but if you give them that release too quick, or they have a little bit of a covert mentality, what they'll start doing is giving you that quick release and say, or that quick act, and say, now give me my release. I want them to find it, and I can change the duration I keep my hand there, the distance I ask their nose around, because again, what we have to remember is this: it's not just lateral flexion. It is a word that will be put in a sentence that might mean let side pass, disengage. It can be used in different sentences to have different meaning. It's one word. But one of the big things we do, if they don't bring their head around, is we get more severe with them. And what that creates is a mental and emotional brace and more resistance. And they kind of leave us. They find us annoying. What I want to do is get to the point where if I suggest she bring that nose around, she brings it around nice and easy. All right? It's softness. And it's especially if you have one that's been taught to brace, and you've gone through, right here, sweetie, different bits and everything else, you have to go back to, in my opinion, the ground, because so many times we treat them differently on the ground than we do in the saddle. We tend to lead them down here, we jerk them around, we pull them around, then when we get in the saddle and wonder, why aren't they soft? I want her, no matter what, either side, to bring that nose around nice and gently. If I even go to the off side here, we'll see what she does. I'm going to ask her to take her nose away from me. And she wants to keep me in her eyes. Right there, I just have the contact. Now I'm going to put it right back here on her withers, so I'm not cheating and floating. She's still got some contact on that rope. She's trying to straighten her head back out. I'm just going to wait until she figures out she should soften. And if she moves, I'm going to move with her. Right there, she softened into it. I'm going to wait just a minute to see if she's got a real commitment or if she's just testing the waters here. Right there, she softened again, and that's why I tell her that's what I want, is not just a test, but a real commitment to the softness. Same thing here. If I lead her, I want her to walk with me. Atta girl. If I stop, I want her to stop. If I say let's back up, I want her to back with me, not away from me. If I want to walk across her nose that way, I'll give her my hand between the eye and the nose to move with me, and just say, please don't make me touch you. Atta girl. And even there, as long as she's moving with me, I'll drop my hand. If she stops moving with me, that cue will come back up. What we have to do is give them the chance to understand us instead of looking at what they do or how they perform. And big thing is pay attention to ourselves, to our presentation, to our rein contact. Groundwork gets a dirty word or a dirty reputation. This is the foundation for everything we're going to do with this animal. That's why you cannot bypass it. And these things, whether we're coming in from the pasture to saddle up, anything else, you have to be aware of the effect you're having on your animal. And it takes a presence, a constant presence, that basically I'm working with my friend. And I want to be polite to her, give her every opportunity to understand, because we're walking side by side and we want to develop that partnership. So be cognizant of everything you're doing, from the pasture on into tacking up to riding.